I never imagined my time as a Navy SEAL would matter in a quiet cul-de-sac, surrounded by picket fences and backyard barbecues. But one afternoon, that past came roaring back in the ugliest way. Three men dressed like cops stormed my property, claiming to enforce HOA rules. And one of them made the mistake of his life. He laid hands on my wife, Sarah. By nightfall, none of their faces looked the same as when they arrived. Before we jump in, drop a comment with the country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story goes. It started that morning. Sarah stepped out to water the roses and noticed a black SUV circling our block again and again before finally parking across the street. Out climbed three men, all in dark tactical vests with shiny police patches slapped on. To the untrained eye, they might have passed for real cops. But Sarah saw through it instantly. Their belts were cheap nylon, their holsters plastic, and not one of them carried a radio. No legitimate officer rolls up without comms. The tallest one marched across the lawn. HOA compliance inspection, he barked, flashing a badge that looked like it came from a Halloween aisle. Sarah shot back, calm but sharp. Since when does the HOA hire police officers? The second guy sneered. We're not hired, lady. We are the law here. Sarah told them to leave, reminding them trespassing is a crime. But instead, the third thug stepped closer, fingers resting on his fake baton. When she raised her phone to record, he smacked it out of her hand and then slapped her across the face. That's when I came out of the garage. I had been organizing old gear when I heard her yell. I saw her clutching her cheek, these clowns puffing their chests like they owned the place. In that moment, neighborly patience evaporated. Combat mode switched on. I walked up slow, squared my shoulders, and said, "You boys picked the wrong house. You've got 5 seconds to tell me who sent you." The leader smirked. "The HOA president says you've been ignoring notices. We're here to make sure you comply." He tried to stare me down. But I've stared down mercenaries and warlords. Suburban wannabes don't even make my pulse rise. I told Sarah to lock the door. She didn't argue. She knew what was coming. I leaned in, low and sharp. "Touch my wife again, and you won't be walking out." They laughed, but their eyes flickered. I demanded their IDs. They refused. That was all I needed. Impersonating officers is a felony. And right there, in front of half the neighborhood, I decided they weren't walking away clean. My stance shifted, feet planted, shoulders set, eyes locked. It was the posture I used before every fight overseas, and they felt it. The laughter dried up. The leader jabbed his finger at me. "You think you're above HOA rules? That truck, that fence, those dogs, they all break code." I chuckled darkly. My truck's parked legally. My fence meets city code. And those dogs? Service animals protected under federal law. But you three impersonating cops on my property? That's prison time. I stepped forward. He stepped back. The shorter one tried to puff up. "We'll cuff you right now." He fumbled with toy-grade cuffs that wouldn't hold a teenager. That was it. Patience gone. I moved. Fast. My left hand clamped his wrist until the cuffs fell and my right elbow cracked his jaw. He collapsed on the lawn, groaning. Number 2 swung his baton. I sidestepped, caught his arm mid-swing, and used his momentum to flip him onto the concrete. The sound of him hitting pavement made the neighbors gasp. The leader froze, tried to bluff. "You're assaulting officers." I stepped so close he could smell my sweat. "No, I'm stopping criminals from assaulting my wife. Big difference." Sarah appeared at the door again, phone recording. "Already called the sheriff," she shouted. That broke him. He tried bolting for the SUV. Not a chance. I yanked him back by the vest, slammed him against the hood, and pinned him there. By the time real deputies arrived, one thug was groaning in the grass, one flat on the concrete, and the leader was face down under my knee. Guns drawn, deputies yelled, "Hands up!" I complied instantly. Sarah pointed. "Those are the men. They hit me. They pretended to be cops." The deputies tore off their vests, disarmed them, and cuffed them for real. Under questioning, the leader cracked. The truth spilled. Karen Ellis, the HOA president, had paid them cash to teach us a lesson. What she bought instead was a felony conspiracy charge. Down at the station, the three imposters looked pitiful. Their fake uniforms and evidence bags, wrists chained to steel benches. They admitted Karen told them to rough me up, scare Sarah, and put us in line. When deputies asked if I'd press charges, I didn't hesitate. Absolutely. But Karen wasn't done. That same day, she filed a lawsuit against me, claimed I'd used excessive force and damaged the HOA's reputation. Her lawyer even tried to argue those three thugs were security contractors. My attorney nearly laughed. "This is a gift," he said. "We'll countersue for harassment, conspiracy, and assault. And with that video, she doesn't stand a chance." Court came quick. On her side, Karen sat smug in a blazer, whispering frantically to her lawyer. On mine, Sarah held my hand, calm but unshakable, with our attorney ready to dismantle their lies. The judge called it straight. Karen's lawyer argued first. Thin lies, nothing substantial. Then Sarah's video rolled on the big screen. The slap, the fake badges, the assault, the takedowns. Everything, clear as day. The judge leaned back, unimpressed. "These men are criminals, and you, Mrs. Ellis, hired them. Lawsuit dismissed, sanctions applied." My lawyer rose, steady as stone. "Your Honor, we're filing a counterclaim, conspiracy to commit assault, emotional distress, HOA harassment. My clients deserve restitution." Karen's face went pale. By the time the gavel fell, not only was her case dead, but she was personally liable for damages. Even her own board members wouldn't meet her eyes as they left. Her little reign of intimidation crumbled in real time. The three imposters held without bail, multiple felony charges pending. The sheriff shook my hand afterward. "You kept your cool. Most people would have frozen. You probably saved your wife from worse." I nodded, arm around Sarah. Karen thought she could scare us into submission with threats, lies, and hired muscle. Instead, she lost everything.